Kia ora, Lara here, and I am catching up slowly on some of the days that I've missed. Today is the Scraptember day 4 page, and here is sort of the focus. And so today's focus is the white background. So I am going to work through using this photograph. I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media in the background, a little bit of texture paste, a little bit of splattering. As well as bringing in some sort of patterned papered layers that I love. So this stencil is one by close to my heart. It's one of the sort of the card size ones, but these can be used on a multiple sizes of backgrounds and things like that. You'll see here that I'm just going to move this around and sort of manipulate the direction that some of these splashes are going. So the photo that I am documenting is one we sort of clambered up a little bit of a face on our tramp up the Copeland Valley, or towards the Copeland Valley at this point, I believe. I might have got that wrong. But we sort of clambered up and had a really great view of this beautiful green river sort of heading away into the distance. And it was just gorgeous. So I'm going to try and pull out some of the colours from that river to splatter into the background here. So I've done the texture paste, I've sort of randomly placed that in a few different spots, and now I'm actually going to use the stencil again with the sort of the colours to, I don't want them to be completely perfect, or I would have used some distress oxides or something, but I just wanted to add a little bit of that colour and a little bit of that general shape that's on the texture paste layers as well. So you'll just see me sort of generally brushing these in here. You may notice that my voice has come back. It didn't really disappear completely, but I did get a little bit of a cold while we were out and about and doing some bits and pieces, but it's just a cold, and it's good that it has pretty much gone. Still a little bit of, I guess, a croaky or a deeper voice than normal, but it's okay. So I found a few papers that I thought would work. So some of these are part of the Flower Shop collection, which is a new collection in the new annual catalogue by Close to My Heart, and some are from I keep forgetting the name of it, but it was sort of a tropical Christmas set, that greeny coloured one that's there. So I've just stuck these down, and I'm just going to trim generally around that edge there, and pull in a few different colours. Liked how this blue spot looked better than the green, and playing around with a few different things, working out which backgrounds and stuff would work better and look nicer with this photograph, because I'm just wanting to bring in the beautiful blue of that river, and by doing that I'm contrasting. You can see sort of that schisty background that's sort of on the rocks around the river there. So this floral paper is another of the Flower Shop ones. So all three that I've used here so far are part of that Flower Shop collection, and you'll just see how that nice green of the river sort of flicks out from behind there. Now I felt that I needed some stamps or a little bit more interest points, so it's still keeping that white background, which is probably standard for layout, so it was kind of an easy-ish Scraptember theme to pull in here. But I'm just using the intense black ink, and I'm using this because I've put down the watercolours and stuff like this. Now my ink block's not quite the right size, but I only really wanted that South Island of New Zealand part of the stamp peeking out, so I'm happy with how that looks. This tramp is up the west coast, so if you haven't watched my other videos, I've over this Scraptember I am documenting tramps, the most recent one, and perhaps a few others as well, because I've done this walk a few times of up the Copeland Valley. And so this tramp is kind of a bit of a hard work one, in the sense that it's a long walk, but when you get to Welcome Flat you have got some amazing natural hot pools, so it's kind of like this really rewarding end to a bit of a walk. And this particular tramp photo that I'm documenting here is one that we did in December last year, sort of pretty much after school finished, headed away up the west coast and did this walk with another family, so it was kind of cool. Tramping with some different people. They were a whole lot fitter than me. I'm not sure that I will ever do this walk again. It was quite tough and hard going. And I'm hoping to bring out a few photos as well. My husband did it more recently in May, and he's still walking around on crutches because he happened to have had a bit of a fall, got choppered out, ended up with the flying doctors from Greymouth over to Christchurch, and 3.5 months later he is still on crutches with a recovering from a broken hip. So so we've had a few adventures. It is a tramp that we also did just after we got married. No, before we got married, but just when we started dating. So it was sort of our first adventure together with some other people, and we actually did it twice that year. So we enjoyed it a lot, and I must have been a lot fitter then and enjoyed it a whole lot more. Anyway, I've used sort of this typewriter font alphabet here to put in the name of the river that I think I was looking up. So that it was either the river that's here, or could have been the Copeland River, but I'm not certain because I felt it was before we sort of reached that fort. But so that's just the way that is. That is the name of a river on the tramp, and so just putting that up there. Now I'm curling up the paper edges. I have down the bottom, I did lift, you saw me put the 3D foam tape down the bottom, so I've got that there as well. Sorry, I was just a bit distracted then because we've got my son's dog staying with us, and he's just sat beside the cat. The cat's not quite sure what to think of these dogs, and I'm just smiling, but he's waiting for my son to come back home, and up on a couch where he can look out the window, and the cat's just taken off. Anyway, maybe they'll make friends over the next few weeks. So I have just added some journaling in here about the view and the river and the walk. And I'm going to pop in a few of these sort of blue coloured dots. Now I love these acrylic shapes that Close to My Heart have come out with. They've got stars, hearts and dots all on the same, and they've sort of got a few different shades of the blues or greens in this particular set. I've enjoyed using some of the yellow ones, some of the pink ones, but I can see these being a pretty standard staple in my scrapbooking embellishment collection. So I'm happy with how that's come about. I hope that you've enjoyed my rambling and seeing how this Scraptember 4th page came together with the theme of white background. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this, I hope you'll subscribe, and please check out the rest of the layouts in this playlist because lots of other people are joining in on Scraptember. Thanks again for watching.